The most persistent and painful reminder of AIDS displacement was the food. In Lagos, food was an event, a celebration of community and flavor. It was the centerpiece of every gathering, rich with palm oil, Scotch bonnet peppers, and a complex symphony of spices that told the story of his culture. Here, food was fuel, consumed quickly and thoughtlessly. The university cafeteria served an endless rotation of bland, beige dishes, limp pizza, watery pasta, and sandwiches made with bread that was unnervingly soft and sweet. He found himself constantly hungry for a taste of home, a hunger that was more than physical. It was a deep, cellular longing for the comfort and identity that came with a familiar meal. He dreamed of the sharp, smoky taste of suya, the pillowy texture of pounded yam, the intricate flavors of egusi soup. Waking up to the reality of another meal of spiceless chicken and overcooked vegetables felt like a small, daily bereavement. He tried to replicate the taste of home in the dorm's communal kitchen, but the ingredients were all wrong. The spinach he bought was a poor substitute for ugu leaves, the tomatoes lacked the sun-ripened intensity he was used to, and finding a proper chili pepper was an impossible quest. His attempts resulted in pale imitations that only deepened his sense of homesickness. He saw other students surviving on instant noodles and sugary cereals, a culinary landscape so foreign it felt like another planet. He even witnessed a classmate eating collard greens mixed with taco meat, a combination so bizarre it left him speechless. The absence of a proper African store nearby meant that the essential building blocks of his cuisine, Maggi cubes, crayfish, palm oil, were unattainable luxuries. This culinary isolation mirrored his social isolation, a constant reminder that he was in a place that did not understand or cater to the fundamental parts of his being. His attempts to connect with American students often ended in awkward confusion. He met people who, within minutes of an introduction, would share deeply personal details about their estranged parents or their struggles with anxiety. This startling openness was a stark contrast to the more reserved nature of his own culture, where such matters were kept within the family. He would try to hide his shock, but he was sure his discomfort was obvious, creating an awkwardness that short-circuited any potential for friendship. The American social custom of visitation by invitation was another hurdle. Back home, community was fluid, friends and neighbors dropped by unannounced. Here, showing up at someone's door without calling first was a major social faux pas. He learned this the hard way after trying to visit a classmate who had been sick, only to be met with a confused and slightly annoyed expression. The feeling of being an outsider was compounded by subtle but persistent instances of discrimination. He was often ignored in class, his raised hand overlooked by professors. In stores, he felt the weight of suspicious eyes following him down the aisles. Even within the broader Black community in America, he felt a sense of distance. Some African Americans seemed to view him with a mixture of curiosity and resentment, his accent and cultural background marking him as different. He was caught in a strange limbo, not quite fitting in with the white students, and not fully accepted by the Black students who had a shared history and culture that he was not a part of. He was, as he wrote in a late-night email to his sister, a Black face without a Black history in this place. This profound sense of not belonging began to take a toll on his mental state. The stress and anxiety were no longer just a background hum, they were a constant, deafening roar. He felt himself shrinking, becoming smaller and quieter with each passing day. He stopped trying to make friends, retreating into the anonymity of the library stacks. He spent his weekends alone in his room, the silence broken only by the teeny sound of Nollywood movies playing on his laptop, a desperate attempt to fill the void with the sounds and faces of home. The hope he had arrived with was being systematically dismantled, piece by piece, by 1,000 small cuts of cultural misunderstanding, loneliness, and the unyielding pressure to succeed in a world he could no longer comprehend.